To deal with life's agonizing reality that you can't shoot fire out of the palm of your hands, I will reach for Touchdesigner and walk you through how to use Nvidia Flow to get a result such as this. If you can't decide on what sorcery you like best, we'll add a button to procedurally change the color of the fire and the light that it emits. Let's get started. We'll start with setting up Nvidia Flow, and after that we'll set up the rest of the scene. So start with adding Nvidia Flow emitter, and in the top section, Nvidia Flow. Now we need a camera for this. That's what it's going to indicate. So just add a camera. And let's directly add a out top at the end here as well. I like to give it some space so we can put stuff in between, and let's view it. Alright, so this is the straight out of the box thing that you get. Alright, so before we do anything, this is not a way to visualize the fire or the thing that you're making. So we'll start out with actually just decreasing this a tiny bit. Should be fine. We'll start out by giving this a background first. So add a transform after the renderer. And we'll change this up later, but just for now, put the alpha to 1 and make the background black so we can see what's going on. Then what's important is in the flow emitter, there's a material tab where you can put a color ramp. We'll add one because giving it a color ramp really visualizes the fire in the best way. And the way that we'll do this is we'll start with making the blue fire. So we'll just add a bunch of colors, make the outer edge, the outer left edge, make the alpha 0 because the smoke will just dissipate more nicely that way. And let's see. We'll begin with a very slight bluish, like this. Then we'll add a darker blue, or not a darker blue, but a lighter blue actually. Then we'll make it a little darker, and I'll just put this on immediately so we can see what's going on. Add a null after this. Call it fire color. And immediately you can see there's a little more depth to it because it's not just white. And let's see. Make this totally black. Alpha 1. This one can go a little bit to the purple side to give that fire just a very magicy feeling. Let's see, there we go. Alright, that should be good for now. There's a couple of things that we can adjust straight away, which makes life easier. In the Nvidia Flow top, we can set the resolution to full HD. It just gives it more detail. Great, we're working on stuff outside, that's okay. Gravity to 1, yeah, we'll change this up later. But for now, the sim size is what the detail of the sim will be, basically. At least that's what I've noticed. So I'll just set this to 11 on all axes. And immediately you see more of the detail. So if I do 25 on this, it'll be very blocky and just undetailed. So we'll put this back to 11. And you generally don't want to go under 8. I've noticed that it gets very frame droppy then, or it just gets too heavy. So I always stay around the 10 range, basically. All right. Let's see. In order to get this to look more like fire, we'll go to the emitter and we'll change some settings down here. Now, I don't know what these do individually exactly. I just play around a lot and see what looks best. I read about it a bit, but I won't be able to justify every change I make. So sorry for that. But fire has this fire starts out as a very hot source, and then it ends up like a thick black smoke, usually. So we'll just add a bunch more smoke. It gives us this depth because you see the edges of the smoke, and it just looks nice. So we'll do that. And to make it even more, we can put this higher, the smoke correction rate, so it gets even more smoke, even more black. And then to make it feel like a hot source, we'll just add the temperature a bit, and it will make it rise quicker and stuff like that. Add a bit of the correction rate. And for fuel, 1 is fine, I found. But the correction rate will turn down to about 0.2. And the release temperature will be 0.5-ish. And the fuel release will be 0.84. And that should be fine for that. Now, to make this look more wild, we can add a bunch of velocity to the initial state. So we'll add 10 in the x-axis, 20 in the y-axis, and 30 in the z. And immediately it just goes wild, as you see. And angular velocity makes it go, makes it twisty, so it makes it look cooler. So we'll add -70 to this one, 11, and just 2, just some number. Let's see, actually, I'll decrease this and change camera so we can see what's going on a bit more. So this is what the angular velocity does. And just gives it a little twist, which just looks cool. All right, we'll go into the material tab on the Nvidia Flow emitter, sorry. We'll give the alpha scale, it's very low now, so the smoke will go away quicker. We'll give this a very high number. And right now it doesn't look so good, but it'll look better eventually. So the alpha scale will go high, and that'll give the smoke a thicker look. Then we'll do, this is for post-processing mainly, but we'll do some burn color mask, smoke color mask. So that gives it more of a translucent smoky look. We'll decrease this a bit and increase the fuel color mask a lot. Up this, the burn alpha. Decrease the smoke alpha mask a bit. Then we'll go down to smoke intensity. We'll give that 0.05, just a bit. We'll actually just keep all these a bit, just so it's not 0. I found that just looks the nicest. And you'll see it's very, it doesn't glow that much, and it's not, the colors aren't that bright. Nvidia Flow doesn't do that by itself. So what we'll do is we'll have this behave like log footage, kind of. So it's very flat, and then we'll add saturation and luminance, and we'll add a glow ourselves, basically. All right, so let's put this up a bit more. Let's see, I'll add back the linear velocity, which was 10, 20, 30, and it will go wild. All right. And what we'll do now, we'll just use this as it is right now. Well, I'm gonna try to make it look nicer, or I'm gonna make it look nicer actually. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a HSV adjust after the flow, and we'll up the saturation by almost 2 and the value just a bit, so it's just a little more colored. And I'll just change the camera a bit so it looks, we have a better angle. Yep, that looked cool. Let's see. And now we're going to go to the Nvidia Flow top, because there, in this one, there are some settings that can make it look even better. So we'll go to settings, and we'll just switch things up a bit here. So we'll do velocity damping, all these to 0, and the smoke fade we'll do a little bit less. And this is where it gets cool. So vorticity means the turbulence, basically, I think. Because if I increase this, it looks bigger, the fire, and if I do this, it's, well, I don't know what this is, but it's just a wispy smoke. And we'll put this to 7.8 or something. Vorticity from velocity we'll put a little down, because we have a lot of initial velocity, so just to make it look a little nicer, we'll decrease this. Vorticity from smoke a bit. This will decrease a bit. From temperature from fuel we'll add to 0.4, and the constant we'll do 0.91. So this will give the base kind of a turbulent look, and the rest will just follow after that. Ignition temperature will increase just a bit. Burn per temperature decrease 1.7. Smoke per burn almost 9. Temperature per burn we'll do increasing a little bit. Fuel per burn we'll do less, so that'll give it more. Let's see, 0.2, something like that. Buoyancy, that's what makes it go up. We'll decrease that a bunch. So if I increase this, it'll go quicker up, and we'll just decrease this to 1. Cooling rate 1, about 1. I'll just do 1, why not? And expansion will decrease as well to 1.5. Right, so now we have this really thick, big looking fire. And before we do anything else, I will show you how to easily change the colors for this. So what we'll do is, after this first ramp, we'll add a switch top. And this will make it easier to switch between different color ramps. We will copy the first ramp, add it in. Now, actually switch these inputs. And we'll make this the red one, the red and fiery one. So we'll start out with a very hot, well, just white, really. And then what looks nice is if we keep this blue a bit and maybe decrease it. So it just looks cool. And then we'll make this orange. Orangey, let's see, brighter orange. Then we'll give it a red. Bright red, hot red. And then we'll not make this purple, but just a very dark, like this. And we'll fade it out with the black. So let's increase this off a bit. And just fade that out. And granted, the colors don't look that nice right now, but it's easier to see once we add some post-processing. But just to give this a little setup, and we'll just add one more for the green one. And for this one, we'll just change the hue. So it's just all green, maybe add a little bit of yellow in here for the base. And if we now blend between the inputs and change this, we can see the colors change. And the cool way to make these change is to add a, you could use a button, but I think keyboard in is just cooler. And we'll not do 1, but we'll do period. So every time I press the period, it'll have an input. See? Whee! All right. And to make it switch between all the tops, we'll add a count after this. And we'll set the count limit to loop and maximum of 2, because 0 is a number 2, so it's 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. And it'll count up. And to give this a little better look, we'll add a lag. Oops. Lag of these values are fine, or actually I'll do 3 and 0.1 to go back, because it has to skip back to all of them to go to the beginning, and 1 to go forward. So that's why I do this. And we'll add a null. And we'll just link this parameter to the switch top. And now every time we press the period, it'll fade into the new color. So that's pretty cool. All right, now we'll set up the hand. I got this model off of Sketchfab. I'll link the user in the description. So let's just add this. Now I adjusted it a little bit in Blender to make the hand curl up a bit, because it was stretched out more in the beginning. So as you can see, I just adjusted the fingers a bit. And the way we'll go about this is we'll right click and add a geo. It'll automatically input and output this geometry that you put in. And to make this render, we'll add a render top. Whoops. All right. And we'll composite this in immediately. And we'll do that after the HSE adjust, because we don't want the hand to be adjusted with it. And we'll do over. And in our case, we want the hand to be over the fire. So we can see right here, it's very small. We'll increase the size of the hand to 16. And now we just have to position it, but we can't see it, so we'll add some lights. We'll add first of all, an environment light. And let's get, let's get an HDRI. I have Studio Small. It's a free one. I think I'll put it in I'll put all the things I use in the description, a download link. Let's just link it in here. And the reason we can't see anything on the hand right now is because environment lights only work with PBR rendering. So we'll add a PBR material and just put it on, and there we can instantly see it. Roughness is fine, and we'll make it a little more dark gray. Just looks nicer. All right, now we'll position the camera a little better. So we'll just go about this and see what looks best. We can position it just like in the example, a bit like this. And we'll put the hand down a bit so we can see the ball of fire in the hand a bit. now what we want to do is decrease this. Let's see. So, yeah, like that. And we'll rotate it so we have a nice backlighting like this. And we'll add some more rim lights with regular lights. So for instance, let's add the light for the fire first, because that makes the most sense. So we'll just put the position to 0 for now, increase this to 5 so we can see what we're doing, and we'll get to the color later. So it's very difficult to see where the hand is, but it's somewhere in the hand probably, or where the light is, sorry. It's probably in the hand somewhere. We'll put it above the hand with, let's see, maybe you can see it like this. Oh yeah, well, if you press W on this, you can see the wireframe, so it doesn't get affected by light, and we can see the hand better. So we'll just adjust to put it above the hand, so that's where the fire would be, and we can see if it works by just putting this to 20. Yeah, looks cool. All right, we'll put this back to 5. Now we'll duplicate this, make the source blue, or the color blue, excuse me. Something like this. A little lighter maybe. And we'll put the dimmer, 5 is fine. And just from this position, we want to have the rim light, so the thumb is, we're looking at it like this right now, so we'll just put it at the back. And we want to let's create this finger rim. Something like this looks cool. And we'll duplicate that and make it rim the other side. That sounded weird. So it's just playing around a bit with this again. There we go. That looks cool. All right. And we have one more light, which is, actually no, we don't. That was it. And now we have something, but it's still difficult to see what the end result will look like. So what I like to do is just add the post-processing in before we do anything else. So I'll add in my own components for chromatic aberration. Let's do quick glow and quick grain. Disconnect this, and we want the chromatic aberration first, then the glow. That's personal preference, but actually the glow has to be in front if you look at a camera's perspective. And we'll just link all these in. And there's actually something funky going on when I glow, so I'll disable these two. And now we will just hook these in. Like that. Decrease the grain contrast a bit. Chromatic aberration doesn't really matter for now, but we want the glow to look nice, so let's just look at the glow for now. Let's decrease the intensity so we don't have nothing. Now you see these edges are very hard, so we'll go in again and adjust the chroma that's in front, and let's value soft low this a bunch, so, and increase the minimum value, something like this. We'll go back and we see it's glowing a little nicer already. But what we want to do as well is add a level after the transform. And this level we will increase contrast a bit and increase the brightness also, like this. I forgot to put this render top to full HD as well, by the way. So let's just do that. And in the quick glow, we will pause it and just look at what this is doing. So we want this first glow to be really small and hot, so we'll do it like this. And the second one, we want to give it more of a outer glow. Like this. All right. And now, because I upped the brightness of all of these, I want to decrease the light of the rim lights, or decrease the thing of the rim lights to half. This is the light that we have for the fire, so we can see it turns red now on the hand, or that's the light we want to adjust the color of. So how to do this procedurally is we will grab the HSV adjust, or actually make an analyze top and hook the HSV in there, and we'll mask the alpha. That's what it was. So now if we press the period again, the fire changes and the analyze changes as well, and we can use this color to procedurally adjust the color of the light. How to do this is we make a top 2, and we'll put in this top, and we can see the individual color values of the red, green, blue, and alpha channel, and we can just simply hook this into the light in the corresponding channels, of course. And to make this fire light flicker a bit, we can add a noise chop. We'll make it time slice. We'll increase the period a bit, increase the roughness, and we'll decrease the amplitude a bit and up the offset. So it's always, we'll hook this into the dimmer of the light source, and with the offset we can control the intensity of the light. So see that? So it's a big fire, so we'll put it up to 35. And let's see, we can increase the amplitude actually. Yeah, so it's gonna flicker now a bit. It's very subtle, but it looks cool. We don't want this, we don't want this fire to be too hot. This light to be too bright, excuse me. All right. Now I'm getting a lot of frame drops. That's probably because my emitter is set incorrectly for some reason. Let's see, decrease my radius. Oh, that's what it was. My radius was off. So now we have a nicer looking one, but it's going off to the right, which we don't want. And that's probably because I did this. Let's put these back to 0 for now. Yeah, all right, so we'll just leave the linear velocity on the y-axis so it goes upwards. And we want to position this a little better, so we'll put it down a bit. And don't put it too far because the hand will always be over it because of the comp. Geometry and Nvidia Flow don't communicate with each other for some reason. So just put this where it looks nice. So maybe it's about, I think this is cool. All right, and now to give this a little more Shazam, we'll add a nice ramp background. So we'll get rid of this transform for now, and we'll get a little messy. We'll add a composite, excuse me. And now we'll add a ramp top. And we'll hook this in. Make the ramp full HD. And put the composite to over. Now go back to the ramp and adjust this to make it circular. Or was it radial? No, circular. That's correct. Leave this phase at 0, and let's make the extend left to hold. Alright. Let's make this outer one black. Leave the alpha at 1. And now let's make the inner circle. So this one, make it dark blue. That's just a cool color for this one. Let's see if we can fade this out customly a bit. I want this to be a little more dark. Let's see. Now, I'm not a big fan of this ramp top. Just the way it operates is a little bad to me, but it works. So. Just like that. Alright. Now let's see if we can fine tune this. Change the camera a bit to what the actual example was. Like this. Alright, so the lights are still a bit too hard in my opinion. So I'll decrease these. Let's see, which one is this? And that one doesn't do much actually. Okay, we'll put this under a bit. And this one we will put the 2, and we will put we'll just add a little bit of fill because it was too little in my opinion. Alright. That's what it is. Okay, so for the final step, the velocity correction rate on the flow emitter, it's 0.5 now. We'll just put this to 1. And I will just make it behave differently and just generally a little nicer. And in my opinion, the smoke is a little too dark. So let's see, we can do this in 5 different places, or 3 different places actually. Alright, there we go. Alright, so in the ramp, this one was set, the alpha of the last black one was set to 1. We'll just decrease this a bit. As we can see, this is the difference. And we don't want to get rid of it entirely, but just a little more opaque so the light can shine through a little more. And yeah, I think that's it basically. So that's the basics of Nvidia Flow to get this result. You can get a lot of different results with Nvidia Flow. We can also hook it up to an audio analysis and make the fire go on with the beat of the audio or something like that. You can do whatever. It's just, you have to play around with this one. But just play around with it until it looks nice. And remember that the thing won't look nice unless you use post-processing. So I'll link my custom post-processing components in the description, so you can just download them and use them. They're pretty easy. They're not perfect, but you can just play around with them. It's just a quick setup. And yeah, thanks for watching.